Hypatia and Neoplatonism. Hypatia was a philosopher, mathematician, and astronomer from Alexandria, and she is considered one of the most important intellectual figures of the ancient world.
Yes, and what makes her even more remarkable is that she was a woman in a male dominated society. Despite that, she became a respected teacher and led a Neoplatonic school.
She was also the daughter of Theon, who educated her from a young age. That probably influenced her passion for knowledge and also science.
Exactly, and she didn't just study, she contributed to knowledge. She worked on mathematical texts and improved scientific instruments like the astrolabe.
I really admire her because she represents the unity of science and philosophy. She wasn't just teaching ideas, she was helping people to actually think critically.
That's true, Fran, but I think her influence was also political, even if indirectly. She had connection with powerful people, and that made her a controversial figure.
I see your point, but I think it's unfair that she became a target even though she didn't hurt anyone. She was mainly focused on education and intellectual development.
Yes, but the context of Alexandria was very tense. There were conflicts between religious and political groups, and she was caught in the middle.
Her death was tragic, of course, and it shows how dangerous it can be to stand for knowledge in times of very dangerous conflict.
I agree. And that's why today she is remembered as a symbol of intellectual freedom and the pursuit of truth.
Now, moving on to the Neoplatonism, I think the most important concept, for me at least, is the one. It's described as the ultimate source of everything. Have you heard about it?
Yes, I heard, but I find that idea kind of confusing. If the one is beyond everything, how can we even understand it?
I think we're not really supposed to fully understand it. The one is ineffable, meaning it cannot be described with human language.
Fran, but that's exactly my problem. If we can describe it, then how can we say anything meaningful about it?
Well, Neoplatonists solved that using negative theology. Instead of saying what the one is, they explain what it is not.
That helps a little, but it still feels too abstract for me. I prefer ideas that can be clearly defined.
I understand, but philosophy is not always like that, Bao. Sometimes it's about approaching truths that are too complex for simple human definitions.
All right, but explain the process then. How does everything come from the one?
Through emanation, everything flows naturally from the one. I don't know, it's like light from the sun. It's not conscious creation. Do you get me?
Kind of. That analogy actually helps. So first come the nose, then the word soul, and finally the material world, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think this structure is absolutely beautiful because it explains reality as something ordered and meaningful.
I'm not fully convinced. It sounds elegant, but I'm not sure it reflects reality. It might just be a philosophical model.
That's fair. But even as a model, as you say, it helps us understand the relationship between ideas and the physical world, Pau.
Oh, okay, I agree with that part, especially the idea that the material world is imperfect compared to higher levels.
And what I like most is that it gives human a purpose, to return to the one through knowledge and reflection.
That part is interesting. It turns philosophy into something practical, almost like a gate of life.
Exactly. It's not just theory for me. It's a path for personal growth.
Even though I still think the one is too abstract, I can see the value in the system as a whole.
So maybe we can say that Neoplatonism is not about having all of the answers, but about seeking deeper understanding.
Yes, I like that conclusion, Fran. It's more about the journey than the final answer, actually.
Also, I think Neoplatonism encourages us to look beyond appearances. It reminds us that what we see is not the full reality, and that there is always something deeper for us to discover.
That's true. It makes you question things instead of just accepting them. In a way, it pushes people to think more critically.
And that connects again with Hypatia. She didn't just accept knowledge, she explored it, questioned it, and shared it with others.
Yeah, she represents exactly that attitude curiosity, discipline, and the desire to understand the world.
I think that's why her legacy is still important today. Even if we don't fully agree with Neoplatonism, her way of thinking is still very valuable.
Definitely, in a world full of information, what really matters is how we think, not just what we know.
So, in the end, both Hypatia and Neoplatonism teach us the same thing: to search for truth, to question reality, and to never stop learning.
I couldn't agree more. That's probably the most important lesson we can take from this topic.
And maybe that's why studying philosophy is still relevant today. Even though these ideas are ancient, they help us understand modern problems, like how we define truth or what it means to live a meaningful life.
Yes, and I think Hypatia's story also reminds us that knowledge should be protected and valued. Without people like her, many ideas and discoveries might have been lost, so her legacy goes beyond over time.
Absolutely, Pau. I completely agree with you.